can put it on the board. Yeah.
Team to win the game. Hawks win.
And Mack will take it all the way in for a touchdown. How crazy was that?
Shot on the way. Larry Marketing.
And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
This is the Athlete Beat, WCRX's sole sports show featuring modern and classic hip-hop, only here on 88.1 FM, Chicago. All right, 7:04 here at WCRX, 88.1 FM, Chicago. I am your host once again, Brandon Orlowski. This is the Athlete Beat. I am joined today by Blaise Mesa.
How's it going? We got 4 different times here. You said 7:04. I got 7:03 on my watch. The clock up there says 7:02. It's a mess.
The clock behind me is wrong all the time.
And the door just closed, so we're haunted. So.
Oh, cool. That just made it on the air. All right,
Nice.
cool. We blew out our listeners' eardrums in the
Theater
first
of
minute.
the mind. We're in a room.
We are in a room. We're listening to music. We're about to talk sports. There's ghosts, apparently. And that's that. So, yeah, today's show is going to be spooky, apparently. Once again, like I said, this is the Athlete Beat. Brandon Orlowski and Blaise Mesa are coming at you. Blaise, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about me. I don't know if they want to know too much about me, but I'm the managing editor of the Columbia Chronicle. I'm on this here radio station in actually 12 hours. To be exact, I'll be here at 7 in the morning for all you fine people. And I know sports stuff because I have my own sports podcast. So
What are you going to be doing for the station tomorrow?
playing the music all you desire. And then I'll tell you about what my commute on the Red Line was like because it's probably pretty weird. Red Line at 6:30 a.m.
Definitely.
It's definitely bad.
Yeah, so you can call in to Blaise's show tomorrow.
I hardly know how to answer those phones. So just tweet at us.
Yeah, you can attempt to get into contact with him.
It's probably not gonna
some
work.
way, shape, or form. You can follow me on social media at Brandon Orlowski. Blaise.
It's at BLAISE_Mesa MESA. No one knows how to spell my first name, so you got to spell it out.
I'll be able to post all of our links at some point during the show on the CRX page, just to make sure that it gets out there to everywhere. So there was honestly in the past week, I don't think there was too much groundbreaking sports news. But in doing my show prep for today's show, there was a lot of kind of under the radar stuff that a lot of people maybe missed for one reason or another. They were watching the NBA All-Star game and they missed a little bit of news, or they were paying attention to more important things than sports.
Probably.
So you miss things. So let's just jump into the NBA All-Star game that happened yesterday. All-Star weekend. Took place from Friday until yesterday. They made a big all the leagues make a big thing out of All-Star, not just the game, but they make the whole weekend out of it.
Some of them do a better job than others. Unless you're the Pro Bowl, it's probably good.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl is probably the weakest one. I think the NBA All-Star game is fun, but it kind of gets boring after a while.
When it's 150 to 140, you're like, okay, can someone just play defense for 2 minutes? I know I voted a defensive guy in there one time or another.
Yeah, and then I think baseball and hockey are probably the most consistent ones.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with that.
Baseball, it's pretty much just a straightforward regular game with not any crazy rules. Hockey, it's 3-on-3, so there's more action. The goalie isn't going to really try to do anything crazy and hurt himself, but
I think baseball gets it because I don't actually, just gonna speak off the cuff, I don't know how many people they vote in versus the positions that are available, but they just people are in there a couple innings, they get out, they do their time, but they get enough days off to where it's not it interferes with anything.
Yeah,
so everyone just kind of goes about their life.
Yeah, I mean there are some whoever usually participates in the home run contest, whoever wins just completely does a nosedive the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're Bryce Harper last year, and you're
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the reverse. Okay.
And then you could maybe mess up your pitching rhythm or mess up the rotation on the team. And the All-Star game and the All-Star break can of course have negative effects, but like I said, like you said, that time off is doing way more beneficial things for the players and their mind and their body, everything. Because even though a lot of them play, 150 plus games, you can say that they're just standing in the outfield and it's not that hard, but it wears on you all that game time for sure.
It's nice that they don't have to like think too much in the All-Star weekend for just about any sport, because the casual fan may not realize there are plays and stuff to do in baseball, but I don't think they really go too deep into that in the All-Star game because no one's really trying to bunt. It's probably the most basic stuff you ever heard. So
everybody's swinging for home runs, or if it's in the NBA, everybody's going for dunks or 3-pointers. That's all there is, really.
Remember Steph Curry to Giannis the other day when That's the first and last thing I saw about the NBA All-Star game on my Twitter feed. Yeah,
Giannis, Steph Curry did a bounce pass to Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks, and his head literally was clearly above the rim when he just grabbed the ball out of midair and threw it down. It was insane.
Sometimes I forget how small I am, and then you see that and you're like, oh, like I don't even think I can get my hand that high, and he got his head that high.
Or when you watch an NBA game and you see a guy who's like maybe 6'3", so he kind of looks small on the screen. And you're like, oh,
everyone's 6'3", and the camera's panning. You're like,
it's
okay.
Like, oh yeah, that's not that bad. Like, he doesn't look like a monster. And then you go to see him in person. Like, you know what? I'm over here, 5 something. I mean, I'm 6'4", but so I don't really have that problem.
I'm 5'10", so I have that problem. I'm like, jeez, this is a large man here.
Yeah, I know. Because every time someone hasn't seen me for a while, it's just like, holy crap, look at how much taller you got. I'm like, yeah, I've been tall for a few years now.
I was definitely growing while we weren't with each other. That's exactly what happened.
So did you watch any of the All-Star game stuff?
I don't know if this is bad to say in the air, but I forgot it was happening. So
no, that's completely fine.
No, I did not see any of it. And then I saw the tweet about that dunk pass or the bounce pass, and I'm like, was that tonight or was that a flashback? I'm like, oh, that was tonight, and I just missed it. So it was this weekend. So yeah, did not see it. I was looking at state audit reports for homework.
Oh,
it was so much fun. I just couldn't get enough.
You didn't even have NASCAR on in the background with that pile up at the end. I had that on at my other job. Me and the other producer I was working with. I guess he's a big NASCAR guy, so I had to just let him do his thing. I wouldn't have been my first choice, but to each their own. And we just looked away for a while because after a while. The left turn like 500 times.
Yeah, I get it.
You understand what's going on. So we just look up and we see just chaos and just wreckage. Like, oh, look at that. Oh, okay. Wonder who won. So yeah, that was something. But yeah, the All-Star game, from the little bits and pieces that I saw flipping between stations, it was just run of the mill. Team LeBron versus Team Giannis. LeBron and Giannis Antetokounmpo picked the team's draft style, and it was 178 to 164 Team LeBron beating out Giannis.
178 to 164. For those of you out there who are like, I don't watch basketball, you usually score like 100 points a game, maybe. It's like a good offense, 110.
Lately it's been about 110 average.
So they're just like, we'll go 60 more. They don't extend the time either.
No, it's just everybody's chucking threes or... if you go in for a dunk, nobody's going to try to stop you.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. It's for the fans. All the big superstars get to show what they're about, and they get to, maybe make a highlight play and get their name even more out there. Especially if you're a first timer like a Ben Simmons or a Nikola Jokic, who yesterday he didn't really have a big highlight play, but he grabbed a rebound. Him and LeBron were kind of fighting for a rebound, and they both kind of grabbed it at the same time, but Jokic got his hands on it, and as LeBron was falling out of bounds, he kind of just threw it at him, so it was out of bounds on LeBron, so they got the ball back. So that's people are talking about that, and Jokic himself is one of the best centers in the league from the Denver Nuggets, but maybe this will finally get people to notice who he is and maybe look him up.
I'm curious if you're a fan of the players picking teams. I know the Pro Bowl tried it with Hall of Famers. I think they're like Team Irvin versus Team Rice after Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
Does that make you any more interested in it, or do you like? I was more a fan of the conferences.
I mean, I don't really care who's on whatever team because the outcome's going to be the same. They're both going to score 180 points. Excuse me. They're both going to score 180 points, no matter if it's LeBron with Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and DeMarcus Cousins versus, say, Kyrie Irving, and whoever else is in the East, Giannis, Joel Embiid.
all two of their all-stars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Team LeBron had Harden, Durant. Who else in the starting lineup? There was
On LeBron?
Yeah, there was LeBron, Durant, I think Kyrie, and Kawhi Leonard.
I know Giannis had Steph Curry.
And then Giannis had Steph, but then he had Joel, who, Joel Embiid's great, but he's not on the other guys' level yet. I don't think. But I thought that Team Giannis was going to pull away at some point, but Damian Lillard decided to hit 3 consecutive 3-pointers and basically sent them on their way.
Yeah, something like that. Little NBA All-Star festivities, but now they're over.
Yeah.
So it's like now back to the real basketball, but we're gonna see.
Yeah, I think the playoffs are going to be really exciting. We can touch on that in our next segment.
All the Bulls content in the playoffs, I love it.
Yeah,
They're playing for something.
They are definitely playing for something. Did you see? They revealed the logo for the All-Star game next year. That's going to be here in Chicago.
I think so. I'm going to double check to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
So yeah, the NBA All-Star game next year is going to be at the United Center around the same time. Valentine's Day weekend is usually when they have these things. And tickets for the game, tickets for the dunk event, any of the nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, through the roof right now. So if you're looking to get a spot in the United Center for that one, might cost you a little bit, but it depends on if you really want to go to the All-Star game and see all the the top.
Want to see good players,
the top 30 players in the planet. On the planet.
It's about the one time in the foreseeable future that there will be some decent basketball played on that arena. Maybe the one game you actually want to consider going to, but
do you want to dish out all that cash?
How much is it?
It's I forget the actual.
Is it in the hundreds?
I think tickets for the actual game, a couple of them reached 1,000.
Oh,
I think don't quote me on that.
Even if it's not even close to 1,000, even if you're half right and it's like 500, ew, that's no good. Yeah, no, maybe you just watch at home. Maybe we just give up basketball as a city collectively.
I'll just go online, find a stream somewhere. I won't even watch it on TV.
Not even going to pay the cable people. There are a lot of streams out there. Now, we're not advocating for you to take away from cable, but we are advocating for you to get away from cable. You can just Google it. Reddit streams will get you just about any game you want. So,
okay. I hope this is a reputable website, but
Open a prayer. What's it called?
Quint Events. Looking for tickets on the All-Star game in Chicago for next year.
Well,
okay, they do have packages available. So so we're gonna check right at center court, 100 level section. What do we got? Okay.
I'm saying it's probably, if you said 1,000, I'm gonna say it's 1,000. Just to make you feel better, just so you have some support and some backing.
Holy cow!
Okay.
So there's a package for. Anywhere on the baseline, basically, not courtside, but the 100 levels.
I got you.
Parallel to the court. This package includes State Farm All-Star Saturday night ticket granting access to the Skills Challenge, 3-point contest, and Slam Dunk contest. So this is basically the all-inclusive.
Everything.
You get everything for All-Star weekend.
The dunk and the 3-point contest can be exciting.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna hold my tongue before you read out the price.
Okay, do you want to guess the number of digits?
Is it 5?
It is 5.
Oh, okay. So it's at least $10,000.
Yes.
You see, is it 15,000?
Yes.
It's $15,000?
Yeah, it's $14,999. For the all-inclusive All-Star Weekend package.
5 minutes ago, we're like, this is the worst game of the year.
In a lovely, scenic Chicago, Illinois.
all All-Star games are the worst games of the year in their respective sports because nobody cares and they want to spend $15,000.
Yes. You get to spend a weekend on the luxurious west side of Chicago at the United Center for the entirety of your weekend.
You get the pink line, maybe the blue line with a bit of a walk.
Yeah. You could definitely take the blue line there. Spit you right out. Sounds like a good deal. Does it?
Do I get to buy a CTA train with that?
That's
Do I
the
get
thing.
to chauffeur myself?
Does it come with a back and a two-way CTA pass?
And then you get there and you have to pay like $10 for a hot dog. Like, are you serious?
Oh, no doubt. That doesn't cover concessions. No way.
That would be nice, but it probably doesn't.
Let me see.
Oh, I hope no one buys that. I remember I was looking for Cubs tickets a while ago, and someone I don't think they were serious because it was just a regular game, and they were selling bleacher tickets for $10,000. And I'm like, well, you clearly
For what game?
I don't know. It's
Just like a
it's
regular
regular season game. It's like you clearly don't want to sell them, but you listed them like, hey, if someone buys it, I'll sell for $10,000. But I don't think they sold, and with good reason.
So in addition to going to the game and all of the events, you can take an on-court photo post events. So like after the game, after whatever, you get to take an on-court photo.
Still not worth it. Can they sign something that I can sell later and get my money back?
You get a program gift, whatever that is.
That's probably like programs are terrible. I hate programs.
Souvenir lanyard and ticket sleeve, just so you can show off to everybody else who's there that you are also
there. Be
there.
a shame if your $15,000 ticket got dirty. Was that one ticket or two?
This is for a package.
Okay.
I don't know.
Does the package...
I'm trying to see like what it includes.
Does it let a couple people in? Or is that one person, one package?
Oh, I think this is one.
Oh.
I think this is for one whole-ass person. Or you can do 3 easy payments for $4,999.67.
3 easy ones.
Those
sound
3
like
wacky
nothing.
payments. Look at this. 2 hour. You get 2 hour pregame hospitality. Hospitality opens Sunday, 3 hours before tip off.
Is that
and
all
closes
you can
1
eat
hour
food
before
in there?
tip off. Player and legend meet and greets. Premium open bar. Gourmet food stations, photo and autograph opportunities, and interactive experience.
I'm really going to have to eat $15,000 worth of food, aren't I?
Yeah, totally. I think it's justifiable, though.
There's more than I thought there was. If you get
Meeting
the meet
the-
and greet, yeah, okay, that's not bad. There's no way you can... There's no way you can get something signed. I'm trying to think through this in my head because there's probably copious amounts of PR people there. Like, no, don't sign anything, so you can't get your money back. I feel like that's a $5,000 type operation.
Well, I mean, it says there are what does it say? Photo and autograph opportunities. So I don't think it's discouraged. I just think that they kind of hope that you're not gonna.
That sounds like a $5,000 event.
You're not just gonna turn around and go
Well,
on,
if you
go on
make
eBay.
$15,000, yeah,
which anyone in their right mind probably would if they're spending $15,000 on an NBA package.
It's all fun and games until that money comes out of your account and you have a signature from LeBron James and you're like, ooh, need to eat. So,
but you got to think who are the people buying these tickets? It's probably like rappers and
gajillionaires. But at that point, if you are famous enough and make enough money to buy these tickets, what does the meet and greet do? You could probably tweet at LeBron James and be like, hey, I want to meet you. And it would probably work.
I'm just trying to think like what the market is. Like why I don't know. I've never spent $15,000 on anything.
Neither. Oh, besides school.
Well,
Thanks, Columbia.
In one sitting. That's what I mean. Or in 3 easy payments of $5,000.
I may have spent that. No, not community college. Definitely only Columbia. The 3 easy payments of more than $5,000. Saw my student loans the other day. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's a good yearly salary for someone, but
It's insane. It really is.
oh well. Maybe I'll just take out a Parent Plus loan and tell them it's for school, and then just buy those tickets.
You could do that.
That would cost more than $15,000 due to the interest. So maybe not the best plan, but a plan nonetheless.
Always a man with a plan. Are you a radio major, correct?
I'm a radio minor.
Minor.
So
What is your major?
multimedia journalism.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I kind of know what's going on here. I get it. I've been around the radio parts every now and again.
No, yeah, absolutely. You said you're doing a show tomorrow.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
You know what you're doing.
That's
That's why I thought maybe you were. I mean, I didn't know that. Well, I don't.
I snuck my way in.
I was gonna say
Me and Matt are buddies.
I was gonna say because like I don't know if you have to have the radio major to take practicum.
I'm not in practicum. I'm in practicum next semester.
Are you just doing like a special study?
Matt just let me on. I'm like, Matt,
nice.
can I go on? He's like, sure. So yeah, that's the story of me and WCRX. Aren't you guys all happy?
Like a directed study kind of thing, because that's what this is. Because I just couldn't do the class because it didn't fit in with my schedule.
Yeah, yuck. It's a long class. Not to break off on a tangent, but I think it's like a 9-hour class. But you obviously are in studio for 4 of them. Either way,
that's whatever. Yeah. Let's talk some football. NFL. How do you feel about? How's your NFL knowledge?
it's pretty good. I think we're going to be okay, especially because we're talking about Robbie Gould. I see on there.
Oh yeah.
Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham Jr. I know what's up.
You know who's hip with the?
I know who's hip with the old sports ball on the old fields there.
All right, so let's go with Robbie Gould first. So obviously, Bears have some kicking issues that they need to be addressing within the coming weeks. So Robbie Gould used to be the Bears kicker. Obviously, they got rid of him 2-3 years ago after he had a down season. Mutually parted ways. There was no bad blood. Spent a little time in New York. Went to San Francisco for 2 years, and now he's looking to cash in on one more final big free agent kicker deal.
I think I've seen that he wants a 3-year contract. Is that about what you've been getting?
Yeah, I think he went on record saying that his next contract is going to focus on his family, financial stability, and playing for a winning team.
And that all sounds like the Bears,
Exactly.
But he's probably going to get franchise tagged by the 49ers and stay in San Francisco. He's also spoken very positively on his time in San Francisco, and if I was a kicker, I would too, because it doesn't really snow there. There's no rain, and it's not that windy. So he may be in the right place for kicking conditions, but Robbie.
He has been linked, in rumors connected to the Bears for seemingly forever. Basically, it seemed like all of last season. Like the second time Parkey missed a kick, it seemed like Robbie Gould was on the radar.
It was easy to be like Robbie, but
do you think fans are kind of setting themselves up for disappointment?
Oh yeah, they definitely are. He's not coming back, at least this year. And if he doesn't come back this year, I'm assuming the Bears will they already have a new kicker, Redford Jones or whoever, if I'm saying his name properly.
Yeah, they signed him from Tulsa after he finished college. He's unproven, but
if they don't get
he's
him
another
now,
body,
they're probably not going to get him. Wouldn't be surprised if Cody Parkey was still the kicker.
There's a very good chance that he probably will be.
I know Cody Parkey was hitting at around 75%. And I think Aldrich Rosas, the all-pro kicker for the Giants, last year was hitting at around 71%. So the Bears front office is going to see past examples of kickers who have not been very good all of a sudden being very good. Even Robbie Gould, when he got cut by the Bears, was in the 70%. So when they see Cody Parkey at 70%, they're going to be like, wow, he's next. He's going to be better. And he may or may not be, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same kicker. Because honestly, I don't know if there are any good kicker free agents out there.
That's the thing. I feel that kicking has become a very hot commodity. Like very, very rare to find a stable kicker. I think it's probably harder to find a steady kicker than a quarterback. I'm not saying that a kicker is more important than a quarterback, but it's harder to find that franchise, quote unquote franchise kicker.
But they used to be a dime a dozen. Like you think about like some of the current kickers who are first ballot Hall of Famers without even thinking about it. Adam Vinatieri. How many teams has he played for?
2.
Yeah. And then you got
Vinatieri, Robbie Gould.
Yeah.
Janikowski.
All played for at least 2 teams. Janikowski maybe Robbie Gould's at 3 with quotations around 3 because he was barely on the Giants.
Yeah.
Janikowski was on the Raiders, the Seahawks, and is he with someone else now?
No, he was just on the Seahawks last year. After he was on the Raiders for like 12
Okay,
seasons.
yeah. So he's kicked around.
Ho-ho.
Get it? But basically, like, you wouldn't see this with any other position. Like, if this was a Hall of Fame running back or a Hall of Fame quarterback, like, there's no way that these teams would have let, like, Hall of Fame quarterbacks go to different teams. It'd be like, if the Patriots let Tom Brady go, or if the Packers let Aaron Rodgers go, you'd be like, what the heck? But for some reason, a couple years ago, people thought, it's just a kicker. And now all of a sudden, it's like, shoot, we don't, those aren't around anymore.
Yeah, like we're saying, those kickers that we named are basically the only ones that you can count on night in and night out. You can probably throw Matt Prater, Justin Tucker, Matt Bryant. You could probably throw them
But
in.
even
like,
Matt Bryant just got cut.
He did. I mean, also he's 41, 42, so maybe
We
he's
still love
starting
you,
to.
Matt.
Maybe he's starting to decline. But we've seen kickers go. How old is
Vinatieri's probably
46?
45.
I think he's 46.
He's old as dirt, and he's still coming back. 1-year contract, year after year after year. He'll be here till he's 60.
Yeah, it's not very taxing on your body in comparison to
You're
to being a running
you're
back.
never getting hit. So, or if you do get hit, it's like, what?
Yeah. It's illegal to get hit if you're a kicker.
Yeah, for the most part. But Robbie, if you're listening, and I don't think you are, because I'm pretty sure you live in San Francisco.
No, he lives in. Well, I don't know about him, but his family lives in Chicago.
Well, if there are any member of the Gold family listening, pass along a good word from
Pass
folks at
along to your daddy.
WCRX, because we'd prefer him over our guy Cody. But it's okay, Cody. It's okay.
You're taking shots at Cody live on the air.
Yeah. Cody, I've always thought Cody would be a really good radio DJ because he can hit the post.
Ho
But,
ho!
radio joke. I hope our fans got it. Probably not.
Oh,
I don't
jeez.
know. They probably had
That's
no-
two. That's two for you tonight
I
so
know.
far.
There's going to be a counter behind me.
But yeah, Robbie, I'm pretty sure he lives here in the off season, and his family's here. His kids grew up here, go to school here. He was just at the Blackhawks game a couple weeks ago, and everybody was like in his mentions and DMing him like, "Oh my God, like this is too perfect. You need to come back. It's all like falling into place."
He's kind of active on Twitter enough to where he'll ask a question every now and again, and a lot of times no one answers it, and they'll just be like, "Robbie, come back." I think it was the AAF, the Alliance of American Football or whatever. He's like, "Do you guys like this? Like, how's it going?" And every mention on Twitter was, "Come back,
Come back to
please."
Chicago, yeah.
And like one person's like, "Yeah, I think it's okay." It's like, we really got the point here. Good job, Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one that got away.
He
Plain and
was, and then
simple.
I had the pleasure of when he was a 49er and the Bears lost like 15-12. I had the pleasure of being at that game, but not only being at that game, but being in the end zone where he kicked the game-winning kick. So I got to see it as close as possible. And I'm like, wow.
When
Love
was
this
that the
front
game?
office.
Was that the game 2 years ago when he was the only one who scored for the Niners?
Yeah, that was one of Jimmy Garoppolo's first starts. Might have been his second because I think the Bears picked him off for the first time.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I remember he didn't score a touchdown because that was kind of like the storyline, like that he couldn't throw touchdowns in that first season and a half, or that first half season he had with San Francisco. And Robbie Gould scored 15 points by himself,
And that
beating the
was
Bears,
painful.
and that was enough.
That was some painful stuff. The most painful losses I've seen in person at Soldier Field, both the 49ers, because both times they were bad, and both times they won. That's my life. That's my life now. But apparently, Antonio Brown may be going to the 49ers, so maybe it'll be better in the future. Maybe I won't feel as bad watching them lose.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in Pittsburgh, whether it be with Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell or whoever. Why don't we take a quick break and then we can get into the rest of that. We can get into Antonio Brown trying to force his way out of Pittsburgh.
I think he was successful. Not so
He's
much a
definitely
try.
forcing his way out of Pittsburgh at this point. As well as OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., possibly being involved in past trade discussions with the Patriots.
Oh.
So we are going to continue talking about what we were discussing earlier. We got more, and jeez, just freaked out for a second.
It's 7:50, man.
I just my brain just like checked out for a second.
Well, it's a good thing.
Did you see that happen? Like, did you witness?
Yeah, I did.
Did you witness the
saw it
freeze?
live. Mhm. I'm like, he's doing good. Then he got grabbing a paper. And as he was moving the paper, that's when it wiped.
Like I grabbed a stack of papers and just like lost it. Anyway, we were talking about NFL happenings, and we ran out of time in our previous segment, so we're going to talk about Odell Beckham Jr. We're going to talk about Antonio Brown. We did talk about Robbie Gould, so we got that covered.
Our guy,
So-
kicking from the Bay.
Kicking his way back into our hearts, hopefully. But anyway, Antonio Brown, let's start there. A lot of drama with the Pittsburgh Steelers over the entirety of this past season. It's not about money. He really just wants to be respected, in his own words.
And in doing so, he is causing everyone to kind of hate him in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So, interesting way of going about it. It's like, I'm going to leave this organization, but first I'm going to burn all of it. Can you please trade me somewhere nice, though? It's like, oh, okay. We'll think about that. So, that's where he's at right now.
Yeah, on the 12th of February, I believe it was this past Wednesday, he put out an Instagram post saying goodbye to Steelers in Pittsburgh, saying that, you guys have been the best fans, blah, 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 thank you for all this. And I forget what song was playing in the background, but it was very fitting and kind of like a jab at the Steelers management.
He talks a lot. It's weird. I always find it funny when players like in this situation say, you know what, you guys are the best fans, I'm going to leave. It's like, one, that's probably a lie, because you're leaving. So when you go to the new fan base, you're going to say they're the best fans. But you're trying to say, you don't have to save face. You can just be like, thanks for the memories. I'm gonna go now. But
it'd be very interesting to see like a statistic of like anonymous players of like, do you actually care about the fans? Like
that would be dangerous.
On some kind of crazy level.
If you went to every locker room and you asked all 50 Bears players on the roster, you're like, do you actually like the fans? Yes, no. Oh.
Well, okay, so I'm pretty sure most of the responses would be like the fans are fine. There's some crazy ones, and some go over the top, and some people aren't really fans at all, and they just yell at you. But they come to the games, and they're the reason that we make a lot of money, and I think that's what the response would mostly.
I suspect if you were to ask people yes or no, a lot of them would say yes.
Yeah.
But there definitely would be some people who say no. I am curious how many 100% yeses there would be. Do you like the fans? I don't know.
Well, that is a very broad, open-ended question. Do you like the fans?
Do you like the fans of the city that you are in?
It's like do you appreciate the fans in your city,
I
for
feel like teams like the
how
Patriots
they act or whatever.
and all them who are like, Belichick will kill you if you are 5 minutes late. You'll probably get 100% yes, because it's like, let's not cause any problems here, guys. But there would be some places where I could see like 11% of the players said no. And I think that's about as high as it would get, but that would be interesting stuff.
I wonder if there has been like a study or a survey conducted. We can look that up during our next break. But
I mean, probably. I really hope so, but I would be surprised if there wasn't.
We're gonna get on that as soon as this is
It's
over.
our fact-checking skills.
But anyway, he posted that Instagram picture and said his goodbyes, even though he's still a part of the organization at the moment. They're working on that.
They're working on that.
So AB on this past Saturday, he held an impromptu AMA. Ask Me Anything, just kind of forum on Twitter. Fans asked him whatever their hearts desired, and AB tried to answer as truthfully as he could. So 4 big takeaways that we learned. He thinks that Ben Roethlisberger, the quarterback of the Steelers, has kind of an owner's mentality when it comes to how he thinks that he runs the team, just because he's the franchise quarterback and he's been there for 10, 15 years.
Many of the years
in that ballpark. And he says that a lot, all the players know and acknowledge, this kind of dynamic that everybody has with Big Ben. And nobody speaks up, because if they do, he's going to find out, and then as Antonio Brown put it, your meal ticket's gone.
Yeah, he better hope that front offices around the league don't happen to like Ben Roethlisberger that much. Because if you were the 49ers, because I think he wants to go to the 49ers, if if you happen to like Ben Roethlisberger, you're like, wait a second. Like, if you're having problems with him and we like him, you're going to have problems here. So I think he's walking a very fine, very dangerous line. But then again, he's lucky he is that good to where it doesn't particularly matter how much smack you talk. Because if you're the 49ers or really any team in last place, if you sign him just like that, you're kind of a fringe playoff team depending who he goes to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, like that's kind of the Khalil Mack effect. Khalil Mack effect that he had on Chicago. Like, of course, the defense was good,
but it was like
two seasons ago. It was top 10.
But they were a fringe playoff team at best. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs. I was going to be happy with 7 wins and they get a division title, and it's like, oh my! Especially because a lot of teams now. I was talking with someone else, and I'm like, what teams really need a quarterback? I feel like a couple of years ago it was always 5 or 6. Like the Rams need one, the Bears probably. Like it was a long list. Now it's like the Redskins because Alex Smith isn't coming back.
It doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon.
Maybe the Dolphins, if depending on your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill. Like not many teams need a quarterback. So if you're a bad team, what I'm getting at, even the Cardinals who sucked, you have your quarterback of the future. So if you get Antonio Brown, like you could make the playoffs.
You could. Probably. Especially if Jimmy Garoppolo comes back from his injury and, not necessarily picks up where he left off because there could be a learning curve added on to coming back from the injury. But, yeah, I think the 49ers have a promising core and a bright future, especially if Antonio Brown goes there.
I think a decent amount of people got hurt last year. I remember when the Bears played him at the end of the season, they were throwing up the graphic where it's like they were adjusting it mid-game. It was like, oh, well, there goes this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the graphic, add another name.
The offensive line especially at times.
Yeah, so they have a shot. And Nick Mullins actually wasn't that terrible, so maybe he'll get traded somewhere.
Maybe he'll have the Case Keenum effect. They'll give him a big contract.
Oh, boy.
And then they'll trade for Joe Flacco.
Oh, not the Joe Flacco. Oh, it's like the same thing. You had the younger version of Joe Flacco. Now you have an older version of Joe Flacco that costs more. So, or does he? How much did Case Keenum sign for? Was that a lot? Well, time to search his contract.
So while you do that, real quick, what are your thoughts on the Giants possibly getting rid of one of their cornerstone franchise players, sending him to the Patriots? What do you think about that?
How does it?
What do you think about that possibility that almost happened?
Quick update: Case Keenum signed for $18 million.
Okay,
I think. Yeah, I don't.
That's his salary.
Yeah, $3 million signing bonus, $18 million base salary. So he's a $21 million cap hit. But how is it that the Patriots somehow are always in these negotiations, where it's like, wow, the Patriots couldn't get any better. Oh, they're going to trade for Josh Gordon. Okay, awesome. Oh, they may have gotten Odell Beckham Jr.
How do they get all these good players?
Yeah, it's like you guys need to stop. It's also weird because the people they usually try and trade for don't seem like they would fit, if that makes sense. If you look at Josh Gordon, Odell Beckham Jr., those guys have off-the-field issues. Now, you can say whatever you want about the Josh Gordon and his suspensions, but that's not exactly my point. My point is there were still suspensions. There were still problems off the field.
No, I understand what you're saying.
And it's like, that doesn't seem like a Bill Belichick thing. Bill Belichick seems like the pretty straightforward, like, don't do anything wrong or I will bench you and make this guy you've never heard of
a superstar.
Yeah, he'll be a Pro Bowler.
I'll just have my 3 running back tandem.
I never heard of Chris Hogan in my entire life.
No.
Next thing you know, Chris Hogan is one of the top receivers in the league. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how, Wes Welker, all them, it's like, how do you keep doing that? Like, nobody wanted these players, and now they are Pro Bowlers.
One man's trash is another man's treasure in Bill Belichick's world of football players. How are you getting through the show?
Sleepy.
But
when you start talking, it's better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the breaks are a little,
The PSAs do not keep me awake or entertained.
Yeah, some of them are a little rough, but
most of them are a little rough. But they're providing valuable content, so we have to play them.
Absolutely. So in to kick off this final hour, the final hour out of our 2, we're gonna do some baseball talk. Blaise, how familiar are you with?
I'm pretty familiar with the old baseball. Don't you worry.
With the old stick ball.
Manny Machado to the White Sox? Probably not.
Probably not. Why do you say that? As opposed to
I'm pretty sure
every beat writer claiming otherwise.
I'm pretty sure the Padres just offered him more money. I don't quite.
What was it, 8 years, 250?
Something like that. I think they offered him a little bit more. The White Sox are probably a much more desired destination, but it depends what Manny's feeling. Because if you came to Chicago, you play for a big market team. You wouldn't compete for a World Series for probably 2 years. But after that, you'd probably compete for a decent amount.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to San Diego, you could be like, yeah, they're still in San Diego. They're not the Chargers. They didn't move. But you could be like their savior. You know, San Diego Padres baseball has not been good very recently. I think I saw an article, or it was an Old Takes Exposed tweet, where it was James Shields and why he picked the Padres over the Cubs. And he said he picked the Padres over the Cubs because he prioritized winning, which looks really awkward now. So they just got that whole bad rap of, like, you don't want to come here. Like, can you name a couple Padres players if I had to ask you right now?
Current Padres players?
Yeah, Zangervis Solarte, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, hang on, wait. Let me see if I can... Give me 5 seconds.
5 seconds, okay. I'm pulling up the Padres roster to double-check all
Matt Kemp?
I think he is...
Or is he on LA?
He's a Brave.
Oh.
Or no, Matt Kemp's a Red, I
is
think.
he?
Let me double-check this. Matt Kemp is a Cincinnati Red.
Who was the other guy?
We're doing good. We're really proving my point.
Juan Uribe? No, he's on the Dodgers.
Pretty sure he's retired.
He just retired.
Juan Uribe, yeah, he's definitely
Who
retired.
the hell am I thinking of on the Padres?
I have no.
You know the Twins. One of them was on Atlanta at one point. Was the other one on?
Oh, not like physically the Twins baseball team.
No, not the
Melvin
Minnesota
Upton?
Twins. Oh, yeah, the Uptons. Wasn't there an Upton on?
Melvin Upton.
Justin or BJ, right?
Melvin Upton. I think he's retired. He was a Padre.
I don't think it's Melvin. I don't think that's the guy I'm thinking of.
Justin.
Was it Justin Upton?
Let me see. I don't think so. I think this proves my point exactly. I don't know if we did. We'll locate where Justin Upton is currently. But there's not much going on. I think Justin Upton is an Angel.
Oh, no, Justin Upton was on the Padres in 2015.
Yeah, but basically not much going on. So if you go there, you kind of save the day. But I expect more offers.
BJ Upton, 2015 and 2016, also on the Padres.
But basically, you don't want to go to the Padres. So if Manny Machado is really feeling it, he could be their savior. But he doesn't even want to run to first base that hard on a ground ball.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's trying to fix the entire city of San Diego's baseball team. So I don't know. There's got to be a better offer out there somewhere. And I feel like the White Sox just kind of threw it in first. And like, well, if no one else is going to do it, we're going to do it.
Yeah, I think what you're saying. Yeah, the offer that they reportedly gave Manny Machado initially about a month ago, that people thought was kind of like the 7-year deal, $215 or something, $225. They thought it was lowballing. I thought that was just their initial. That was it.
They're like, let's see.
It's like, yeah, this is what we're thinking. We can go higher. Let us know what you're thinking. And then it's been
nothing.
Mum's been the word ever
even
since.
With the Bryce, it's like the same thing with Bryce Harper. It's like nothing is happening.
Nothing's happening except. I think the latest rumor was that the Phillies are...
Oh, is that from Chris Hyman or whatever?
The Phillies are all in.
I saw him tweet in a matter of days or I saw this. 2 different people tweeted this the same day, both reputable sources. I don't remember who they both were. But one tweeted, Manny Machado or Bryce Harper's going to sign today. And the other tweeted, Bryce Harper's not signing for another month. And I'm like, what? Like, did you guys bother to talk? Can we, get a couple consensuses going here? Is it 2 weeks? But it's just a mess.
The entire free agency this baseball offseason, I feel like, has just been a mess in terms of reporters tweeting out.
They have no idea
whether or not anything's true. They're just giving their own hot takes. You don't know what the hell's going on.
There's some speculation, so I get that they're like, this would be a good fit for that team. And then my favorite's the people are interested in. Well, what's interested? I'd be interested in Bryce Harper, but as soon as he's like, about $40 million a year, please, I'd be like, you know what? You became a lot less interesting, actually, but I'm still interested in you.
Yeah, I'm just not enamored with you anymore.
Yeah, it's one of those situations.
So it seems as reporters have put it, and the glove color of
Oh my! That's where we are now. It's like,
or
were you wearing a
his-
White Sox
exactly.
hat? It's like, no. And then the White Sox like, we're gonna sign your entire family,
all your
now,
friends, all your
now
loved
you're
ones.
gonna come.
Your niece has black and white baby shoes for her christening or something, and that just automatically.
We're at that point.
Well, no, yeah, we're at that point as a fandom that we're hungry for any bit of information that's going to lead to something happening with the team, and we just haven't gotten there yet with this particular player.
It's okay. Eloy Jimenez is there.
Eloy Jimenez seems like he's ready to be called up to the majors, but they're probably going to keep him another
I don't
2
know-
weeks
yeah.
for
I don't know
just so they get the extra year on his contract.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know the exact ramifications of his contract, but I remember the Cubs did the same thing when Chris Bryant, and all the Cubs fans were like, "Bring him up now." I'm like, "Are you trading like 14 games for 162? Like,
Yeah.
you'll be here a whole nother year."
Yeah.
So it's a good move.
Yeah, I understand, especially since nobody's expecting the Sox to
Do
necessarily
anything.
compete next year. If anything, it would be for maybe a wild card opportunity, but they're not looking to be world
They're in a
beaters or
pretty-
anything.
They're in a pretty weak division.
They are in a very
I think
weak
they're- I think they're in
division.
the weakest division in baseball. Something happens to the Indians, congratulations, you're going to the playoffs. It's like, what?
Yeah, and then the Royals fell off. Detroit hasn't been good for a while.
Everyone like disappeared.
Minnesota hasn't been good for a
I
long
feel like
time.
the AL Central was a bunch of teams who were like, we're not good, but if we just keep signing people, maybe we will be. I feel like that was the Twins' motto for the last couple of years. The White Sox definitely did that. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? We're just going to not do that anymore. We're all going to rebuild. And the Indians are like, oh my God. Like, everyone gave up. So this is our division now
Yeah.
for like 4 years? And somehow they only won 91 games last year when they had 200 lost teams in their division. It's like, they were gifting you a 100-win season, but you're like, nah.
Yeah, that's like the Cubs not getting, as far as they wanted, and Yu Darvish only playing 6 games, and Chris Bryant struggles with
But everyone's
struggles
healthy
with
now.
injury coming
So
back
it's
from injury.
okay.
Hopefully, it'd be great to see Yu Darvish just slinging on
If
the
he
mound.
won the Cy Young, I would freak out. I would laugh so hard. I'd
That
like,
would
you
be
were-
legendary.
Everyone was wrong. But, well, we'll see, I guess.
What is the Cubs' rotation? In no particular order.
In no particular order, they have John Lester, Kyle Hendricks, Jose Quintana,
Yu Darvish and
Cole Hamels. Yeah. It's interesting that they...
on paper, that is a
on
stellar.
paper, that's
that
top
is a
5.
stellar
But you're
starting 5.
really hoping Cole Hamels is Cole Hamels of the end of last season. And
What is he,
not,
35 now?
Oh, yeah. He's
gonna
up
be?
there. I'd be surprised if he got another 4+ year contract after this year.
Me too.
It's
John
about that
Lester's
time.
getting up there, but
They're all getting up there.
John Lester's getting up there, but he had a pretty strong season last year. Kyle Hendricks, hopefully he can replicate his World Series season. I mean, last year he was good for sure.
There
but
were a lot of ifs.
there were
but
moments, yeah.
They're weird ifs. Because usually when I say, there are a lot of ifs, it's like, well, if this player will be good. But these are like, if this player will be even better. And it's like, I don't exactly know how to quantify that.
Yeah,
Like,
I get what you're saying.
Because top tier, you could probably have like 3 Cy Young finalists, more or less, in the Cubs rotation. John Lester, I think he's won it before. Kyle Hendricks got real close. Cole Hamels has won it before. And then maybe Jose Quintana or Yu Darvish will surprise us. And it's like, that would go really well if you could all do that. Could you imagine voting for the Cy Youngs? Like, who is it? Well, it's either one of the 4 Cubs.
Yeah.
Take your pick.
It'd be like the Warriors starting 5.
That'd be good. We wouldn't
be
even
great.
need to
Yeah,
use the
that would be
bullpen.
great.
Pedro Strop would just be sitting there,
He'd just be cool and just see ya. He's wearing his hat.
hat tilted,
Hat sideways.
the whole time.
Absolutely.
Hat backwards. He's relaxing.
Yeah, not even. So, Larry Markkinen, we're going back to the NBA All-Star Weekend. He was in the Rising Stars Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
He scored 21 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists in the game. Had the highest amount of points scored behind Ben Simmons, who won the game's MVP award, or whatever they called it.
It's something weird.
But that is kind of, it doesn't really mean much, but
it's like the one nice Bulls thing we have.
yeah,
Like,
it's at least showing us that there's something to root for coming down the pipeline.
Well, it's interesting because we're probably going to talk about this after the next break. What single NFL play changed the history of the NFL or whatever. But now when you look at that Lauri Markkanen trade, if they didn't hit on that Jimmy Butler trade, they wouldn't be in, Garpax would be gone. They would definitely be gone because Jimmy was they would be very close. I mean, I think people hate them enough.
They've done a lot of dumb.
They've messed up. They've messed up enough.
So far.
But trading away Jimmy, who the whole city was starting to like after D Rose, and if Markkanen wasn't good, then I think even Reinsdorf would be like, "Oh, like you guys really suck. Like you missed so bad here." But he turns out to be not terrible, and I think it's buying him some time.
Yeah, they had to hit on that trade. Because Zach LaVine, love him or hate him for his defensive efforts or what have you, the dude can flat out score.
Yeah,
and he's a volume scorer, and he can fit in on a championship team.
Combine that with Markkanen, okay, it's not bad return.
He could be, he doesn't have to be the number one option. I think that's either going to be Markkanen or whoever they draft next, assuming they get a top 3, top 4 pick.
They're trying real hard for it.
Yeah, so if it's going to be Markkanen or Zion or Ja Morant or whoever they grab, and then Zach LaVine will probably be second or third. Like those. It's going to be. Oh, I completely forgot about Wendell Carter Jr.
Yeah, it is weird.
He's hurt right now. He should be back in about a month.
It's weird because they have the young names. Coming into this season, I kind of thought they'd be a playoff team. I'm like, you know what? Best case scenario, Jabari Parker's the same. Markkanen's good. Like, it all comes together this year. But it hasn't, obviously. And it's like, I get we're rebuilding, so, there's going to be some badness in there. But at what point is it like, you really already had the young players? And the Bulls are... It seems hopeless, but it seems full of hope, the rebuild. Which is, I don't know how to explain it.
That's an interesting take.
Because there are superstars. Like, you have players to build an organization around. Markkanen, LaVine, that works. But also, I don't trust the front office, and I don't trust your coach.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's... I'm trying to think of, like...
There's, like, no words to describe it.
Another analogy. But
everyone,
there's... Because whether it's Lauri Markkanen, so the guys on the Bulls right now that you'd probably consider to be core pieces going forward would probably be Lauri Markkanen, Zach LaVine, Wendell Carter, Otto Porter, Chandler Hutchison, maybe Chris Dunn, and maybe Denzel Valentine.
Maybe Denzel Valentine.
And I'm thinking Chris Dunn is slowly slipping into that ether of mediocre Bulls players that didn't pan out. Mm-hmm. However, I think if the Bulls do end up drafting Ja Morant or bringing in another point guard to replace him in the starting lineup, I think Chris Dunn maybe could be effective as the facilitator and the main guy off the bench. I think he could flourish in a way in that role. He might not be, necessarily the sixth man, first guy off the bench, but he could be
he'd be surrounded by enough talent where he
could be running the second unit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's also weird too because if the Bulls tank good enough, it's I don't want to say it's hard to mess up this draft because I've heard some people have their reserves about Zion Williamson, but for the most part, if they draft Zion Williamson, I don't think too many Bulls fans will be upset.
Oh, absolutely not.
So even if they suck,
it's a good problem to have that people brought up. We have enough forwards, and that if it would be beneficial to draft R.J. Barrett or Morant, somebody for the backcourt. And yeah, I agree in a practical sense, but if you have the opportunity to take a generational talent that Zion is supposed to be, it's hard to pass that up and convince your fan base otherwise why you didn't take him.
Like, this is a little too easy, isn't it, front office of the Bulls? Like, just Zion Williamson, huh?
Like you guys are going to screw this up, aren't you?
I can see them, final game of the season, the Bulls somehow winning a game, and then moving themselves out of last place, messing up their lottery odds, and then not getting Zion. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I can definitely see that too. So I just got a notification on my phone. I don't know if you are subscribed to Bleacher Report or any other.
I have their apps.
Okay,
Do
cool.
I have this notification?
You probably do. Do you follow the Blackhawks stream or whatever?
Nope.
Or whatever?
I do not have
team
this
stream or
notification.
whatever?
This
All
is
right.
awkward.
No, it's nothing crazy, but Blackhawks are playing the Ottawa Senators right now. And apparently in the first period, both teams combined to put up 9 goals.
Huh. Who are the goalies today?
No idea. I don't think it matters.
I think they're getting the day off tomorrow, the next game. Like, you know what? You can sit this one out.
Now, okay, that curiosity is gonna kill me. I gotta figure out that who's in net and who scored those goals.
Well, while you figure that out, I'll cue up the old next talking point here. And I think you found this on Reddit via who? I'm not 100% sure. You're going to quote them in a second.
Yes, let me do that.
But it's what single NFL play is the most impactful if it had gone the other way? So what would have changed NFL history? Well, we fact-check a couple things. This is, I think, contingent on the fact that it was in the last 15 years. Is that what we want to focus on?
I think that was the question. I think that was how it was phrased.
I don't know if you guys want to talk about stuff from like 1950.
No, yeah, it's the last 15 years.
Okay.
So like a modern
15.
NFL play or moment that if it had gone the other way would have drastically changed the landscape of the league as we know it.
And we were talking, and we realized there's a lot of Tom Brady on this list.
Yeah,
so we
about
could
half
mention,
of the ones that we came up with.
We could mention the Tuck rule or this or that, but I think we should avoid some Tom Brady.
Well, we can get some of the obvious ones out of the way.
Yeah, Tuck rule.
Obviously, Marshawn Lynch may or may not, probably should have,
Run the ball.
Probably would have
We're
scored.
taking one from Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Helmet catch by David Tyree is probably on there if he doesn't get that. I think that was on 4th down, so that ends that game. There's another ring for Brady. A couple field goals that were made that gave Brady a win. I think we also said the crazy catch by Julian Edelman against the Falcons when they made that big comeback.
So what you're saying is Tom Brady is the luckiest quarterback in the history of the game.
You could say that. He's had a lot of things go his way, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Unless he's playing the New York Giants.
Yeah, apparently that's when it's interesting that
That's when the wheels fall
Nick
off.
Foles and Eli Manning are the only thing keeping the NFL from an 8-ringed or 9-ringed Tom Brady.
The only problem is those two quarterbacks are only good in the postseason.
Yeah.
And they play in the NFC.
Yes. It's like, what? We were really that close from Tom Brady having 9 rings. It was just a backup doing something crazy, and then Eli,
the lesser brother.
the lesser of the two. But did you figure out who's in goal yet?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Brandon. Bro, I was stretching and filling time. Nothing. I guess I'll give you my first one. Because I wanted to be creative and think of non-Tom Brady things. And we came up with a couple non-Tom Brady things. I'm not going to steal yours, but I'm going to say the final play of Super Bowl XLVII. Now, you probably don't know what Super Bowl that is offhand, but that was the Ravens and the 49ers. If anyone remembers, the 49ers had probably a couple seconds on the clock. They were on the 2-yard line. They lost 34-31 because Colin Kaepernick just overthrew Michael Crabtree. Mm-hmm. But if he didn't, then the other Harbaugh wins a Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick wins a Super Bowl. So a couple years down the road, all that kneeling, I don't think that would have been exactly the same if he was
Definitely would have been.
If he was a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I don't know if it gets as bad. Someone probably picks him up. And then...
Yeah, that definitely changes that conversation
and then
a little bit.
When you win a Super Bowl, I feel like it gives you as a coach leeway for many years.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens, say what you will, but some people haven't been a big fan of the coach. I think it's Jim. That's Jim, right?
John Harbaugh is with the Ravens. Jim was with the Niners and is now with
John.
Michigan in college.
Because if you look at the Ravens before this season, if Lamar Jackson didn't come on and save the day, could you imagine how bad it would have been if he didn't win that Super Bowl? If it's oh my gosh. And also, it gave Joe Flacco a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that prolongs his credibility as well.
And it gave him an MVP because if he didn't get that, who's the quarterback of the Broncos?
Yep.
Probably not Joe
Case
Flacco.
Keenum, maybe.
Yeah. It's Case Keenum, maybe Kyler Murray.
Bring back Paxton Lynch,
Oh my gosh.
Trevor Siemian,
and
Brock Osweiler.
And maybe the other Harbaugh still in the league. If you're a Super Bowl winning coach, I don't think you're coaching at Michigan right now. So I think
the big thing with that was cha-ching.
Yeah.
Very lucrative deal that they gave him.
They gave it, and the buyout is
he basically owns that team.
he owns the University of Michigan.
Kind of like Gruden with with the Raiders.
and the Raiders are like, oh please, for the love of goodness, please be better.
So for that Hawks game, Colin Delia, it looks like he started and he let up 3 goals. He saved 7 on 10 attempts. And Cam Ward has saved 5 on 7, allowing 2 now. I think that just happened, actually.
Nice.
When I opened up this page,
like a baseball game.
Yeah, there had been 9 points scored. Now it's 5-5. So it's 5-5 in the second period of the Blackhawks game. Second period.
That's a good final score right
Second
there.
period just started basically 2 minutes ago. So we're going to be in for a long one. We're going to keep you updated on that. Back to this football topic about plays that could have changed the trajectory and overall outlook of really the entire league. Aside from Tom Brady, aside from those plays, which I think a big play would have been Marshawn Lynch running into the goal line for the touchdown in the Super Bowl. But other than that, for generational type, plays, it's hard to pick one that doesn't involve the Patriots or Belichick
in any fashion.
That all just comes back to them,
They are everything.
But one that I do think of is Peyton Manning's neck injury, and the fact that Peyton Manning probably would have stayed his entire career in Indianapolis.
Even if he didn't, he would have spent another season in Indianapolis, and the Colts wouldn't have got Andrew Luck.
They wouldn't have had that bad of a record to get the number 1 pick.
Andrew Luck may have been a Bronco. Somehow the Broncos quarterback scenario always weaves into this. He may have been a Redskin.
Because the Broncos have been trying to replace Peyton Manning ever since he left. And it hasn't worked.
First, they're like, we need to replace John Elway. And then they're like, well, no, we need to replace Peyton Manning. But basically, we were looking at what the NFC East. What are the Redskins in? That's the East?
Yes. The East is the Eagles, the Skins, the Cowboys, and the Giants.
And not many repeat winners. If the Redskins would have gotten Andrew Luck over our Robert Griffin III, well, gee, that really changes things. Although, who had the number 1 pick in that draft? Was that the Colts?
The Andrew Luck draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Luck was number 1, RG3 was number 2, and then I think Trent Richardson was number 3 to the Browns.
Gosh.
He's now in the AAF. I forget who went number 4, but that draft was kind of hit or miss the first 10 picks or so.
Yeah. It was pretty touch and go, but that's a solid choice, the Peyton Manning neck injury. I know we think we have a minute or 2 left here. We talked about this very briefly, but the Cody Parkey missed field goal. Now, it's not quite old enough for the Eagles or any of that to have transpired the way it did. But are we going to be sitting here one day like, wow, if he didn't miss that kick, the NFL would be very different?
I think the conversation about whether that is a defining moment for the league as a whole, I think that's the jury's still out. But for Chicago fans especially, we're always going to think what could have been because everything just seemed to fall into place this season for a Super Bowl run. But if he does make that kick, or if it does bounce off the crossbar into,
that would have been the more fun option.
Into points, I think that they definitely could have went to the Super Bowl. I think they would have had an exceptional chance to beat the Rams in LA.
The Rams did not look good at the end of the season. They barely beat the Cowboys, and I think the Bears are much better than the Cowboys.
I think if the Bears the Bears would have went on to play New Orleans, correct?
Yep.
And obviously
Their home field advantage wasn't that great.
It was not good in the NFC Championship game. Obviously, different opponents, different setting, different preparation.
And assuming there were no other missed kicks, Cody Parkey's legacy would forever be changed in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
People would love him. The letting go of Robbie Gould, we wouldn't even be talking about it. Robbie Gould's free agency, we wouldn't care. We got Cody Parkey. You want us a playoff game?
Yeah, we would think it would be a nice story, not a need. That our season is contingent on whether or not our kicker can make a 40-yarder.
And then even with Matt Nagy, because he set some Bears single-season head coach records in the first year. I don't know how deep a Bears head coach has ever gone in their first season, but if Cody Parkey makes it, that's at least the divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
They win next week. That's the conference championship, and then we could be having him as a rookie head coach in the Super Bowl or something. And it's like, oh my gosh! And would we really still be talking about Nick Foles? It would have been a fun story, but he would have been one and done in the second year, and he threw a couple picks in that game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know. This guy's the same.
Very interesting. Very interesting topic. So we got one more segment here on the Athlete Beat. Brandon Orlowski, Blaise Mesa. We've been having a great time. Do you agree? I know it's been
reject. I have been miserable the entire time.
I know you were sleepy a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Also, add on from our last segment, the time Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone. If he didn't do that, could have changed NFL history.
Yeah, he did not break his collarbone just now.
That was unclear. Okay.
Yeah, in the last segment we talked about.
That'd be some nonsense if he did it again.
If we talked about plays in NFL history that, if they had gone the other way, would have changed the trajectory of history, really. And that was one. That was one of them, because there were a couple of times where he broke his collarbone. But the time you're talking about,
could have taken out the Vikings. They may not be the team they are now.
Absolutely. Oh well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Some people get injured.
We can
some
talk
people
about
don't.
it on the radio. That's about what we can do.
That's it. It's not doing much. Anyway, we didn't talk about the Blackhawks at all yet, so we're gonna try to get through what we can with them. The only thing that we did talk about was that they are currently playing the Senators, and they're
in what appears to be a baseball game.
Yeah, they're in a 5-5 game that's barely gotten into the second period. So there's that. In their efforts of playing that game and getting through that one, they are trying to continue their playoff push. In their last 3 games, not including this one tonight, they have a 1-2 record and have been outscored 10-13. Corey Crawford says that he is healthy and he's ready to come back and play. The starting goaltender has been injured, nursing yet another concussion injury, but apparently he's 100% ready to go.
Maybe he needs to not be 100% and just you know what, I'm gonna take a month off
and just be healthy for a month and not play.
Just have a brain for a month, yeah, something like that.
And just kind of relax. That's a possibility, but I mean,
he's probably not gonna do it.
Yeah,
he's gonna do his thing.
There's probably some game checks in there that he's missing out on.
He's probably not super happy. You're right.
He just needs to get back on the ice. He's like, geez, I'm bored, man.
I don't know what he does in his free time, but I imagine he is kind of bored.
I know he did. Wasn't there the time he got injured? He was at a concert and he fell off the stage, falling down the stairs or something.
That sounds familiar, but I don't remember it. Because I remember, this guy. I remember when I heard that. Someone did that.
Yeah, I think that was him. Anyway, that was 2 months ago. He sustained that concussion, and now he appears to be back and ready to go. In 23 games this season that Crawford's played, he has posted a .902 save percentage. 6-14-2 has been his record as a starting goaltender. And in those games, he has allowed 71 goals. Cam Ward, 26 games, 89.6% save percentage, 12-9-4, 91 goals allowed. Colin Delia, who recently just got signed to a 3-year deal in 13 games this season as a starter, has posted a 91.6% save percentage, has a record of 6-3-3, and has allowed 40 goals. So with those sample sizes from our 3 goaltenders this season, who do you think going forward realistically offers the Hawks the best chance at pushing for the playoffs? Do you think it is Crawford after all this time?
He's going to say he's healthy, but I don't know if he's healthy. So I'm going to say an actually healthy Corey Crawford probably should get the job done. As far as looking forward, he obviously doesn't have to play every day. You don't expect him to play every single game, but I think it kind of has to be him. When you look at all the memorable playoff runs and this, that, and the other, it's usually been Corey Crawford based. I mean,
yeah, he's the starting goaltender.
Last year
he's the guy.
Yeah, last year was not very great, and he was injured last year as well. I think he was out a decent amount of time, and that's not the full story, obviously, but you can point to that and be like, the Blackhawks have been pretty good for the last couple of years. The one time they weren't, Corey Crawford was injured a decent amount of it. Now, he's been injured recently, so the whole playoff push that they're putting together really hasn't been him. But it's still like, wow, Corey Crawford played however many games, and the Blackhawks are all of a sudden contenders again a year ago when they looked terrible. So I think it has to be Crawford.
I think so too, and just assuming that he is back and ready, and he's not going to get hit in the head with a puck and be out for another year. That's the thing about concussions is that like they're always tricky. With you could be out for 2 months, or you can be like Sidney Crosby and be out for a year. It's really just all dependent on.
You could
the
be out for
person.
5 minutes. They'd be like, "Oh, you're fine."
Yeah,
so it's
for
like
real.
I don't know what's going on, but dang. But I think simpler is better. I think we have to get too deep into the stats and be like, "Oh, well, Cam Ward's doing this, and it was like Chris D'Elia, and he did that and that." And it's like,
no, completely. Crawford's definitely going to get the nod when he comes back, but it's just how much Crawford are you going to use? Are you going to keep him on a short leash?
I think you have to keep him on a short leash because now it's turning into a recurring injury,
Yeah.
and that's when it's like, oh, those shortened careers. Like if it was one or two things, it's like let's give him a little extra time to get his brain straight, and then he can go out there and play again. But at this point, it's like we really need you because Cam. No disrespect to Cam Ward or them, but it's like we need you if we need to win a game in the playoffs or to get in the playoffs. I want you in the goal. So we got to keep him on a longest short leash as possible, if that makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense. And like Colin Delia is the goalie of the future, it seems, and he's probably when Crawford comes back, he's probably going to be the one that's going to get sent down to Rockford because Cam Ward has a no trade clause, no move clause, so he can't even be sent to Rockford to the minors. So it's gonna be him.
It's gonna be fun. Delia's like, oh man, take another week off. What are you talking about?
But there's a good chance that Cam Ward isn't even back on the Hawks next season, so that'll open the door for Delia to be the main backup and learn under Crawford and just kind of
all the magic, all the fun times happening again. Well,
hopefully.
That's a whole season away.
And I honestly can't wait to look forward to it. I don't know.
I can't wait. Just say I can't wait.
I can't wait. I don't use that expression as often as I'd like.
Well, you're gonna have to wait, Brandon.
I gotta learn. That's basically it for our show. We got one more minute to wrap up. Blaise, you can plug anything you want. Your personal stuff, your projects.
I'm gonna be back here in like 12 hours, so don't turn off the radio. Leave it on or the stream.
Say anything else that you want to get out there.
I like apples, and I'm gonna eat an apple when I get home.
Where can they find you one more time?
So at Twitter at BLAISE_Mesa MESA.
Alrighty. Once again, I am Brandon Orlowski. You can find me on social media. Pretty much everywhere is at Brandon Orlowski. Pretty simple. If you want to follow the show, you can follow me, or you can go on WCRX's pages on Facebook and Twitter.
Like everything is at WCRX.
At WCRX FM on Facebook. You can look up Chicago's Underground, and you can find it there too. That's it for the Athlete Beat. We will be back next week, same time, and we're going to bring you hopefully another great show with another great guest. So don't go anywhere. This is Brandon Orlowski. If you want to listen to even more good music, you can stick around. Or if you're just here for me and sports talk and our guests, then you can come back next week. Goodbye, everybody. This is WCRX 88.1 FM Chicago.